Hey guys, CreamCrazy here. Welcome to my personal Wrestlemania card as part of my Wrestlemania 30 build-up coverage. And this is technically also Wrestling Rant 80, I think? Nonetheless, what do you guys think of my new look at this thing? This golden royal purple thing looks pretty sweet, doesn't it? Well, every single Wrestlemania related video that I do will be part of my Wrestlemania build-up. It will be part of my Wrestlemania hypers. Because you know what, I've got my ticket now, I can do whatever I want with this event. And the first thing that sprang to mind the minute I got my ticket the other day was to do a personal card. You know, don't predict the card. Don't predict the card and say, oh, this is gonna happen. This is the card that I would personally want to see. If I was going to be booking this WrestleMania and saying to people, look, this is what I would want. This is what me, as a member of the audience, would desire. This is pretty much it. From the pre-show all the way up to the main event. So, I'm not going to say these are going to happen. But honestly, if they were, I would be ridiculously happy with that. Now, I will say one thing before I get on with this. There is no Brock Lesnar, Chris Jericho, Rob Van Dam, Miz, Stone Cold Steve Austin. There's no big names like that, because I want this WrestleMania to be, as I called it in my WrestleMania 19 10 years on vid back in I think it was March. I said that WrestleMania is a plateau for change, and I do desperately want that to be kept. So honestly, there's only one major former name in here that has appeared at the last couple of Manias. And there's also no Shawn Michaels either, because I don't really want to see Shawn back for one match or whatever. He's already proven he's retired for ages and kept his promise, so why not? Anyway, the first match that I'm going to tell you guys about is the pre-show. Now, I don't like how big title matches like last year are on a pre-show. I don't like how anything important to storylines on a pre-show. Therefore, I still want the pre-show to mean something. So why not go for an NXT Battle Royal? Why not give the NXT wrestlers a chance to shine on the grandest stage of them all in a Battle Royal, like they do at most pre-shows or dark matches at previous Manias? One little problem though, when you're going to add a little bit of incentive to make sure it means something, have the NXT guys wrestle, but make the winner get a place on the main roster. And I thought that would be an interesting thing, because that means it'll give us a sign where WWE wants to push a guy. They'll be able to show us exactly what they want, and it'll be able to give us an idea of who is going to be going further in the direction with the company. And what I found cool was, say for example, this is only an example of a cut of about 6 of them here. Adrian Neville, Bo Dallas, Conor O'Brien, Leo Kruger, Xavier Woods, and Sami Zayn. There are only 6 of what could be about 10 of them in there. Say they win matches in the whole of March in NXT, building up this Battle Royal, and then basically they go in and know that the winner gets a place on the main roster, because we've had people like The Shield, Big E Langston and the Wyatt family, the 3 most successful entities in NXT, building up their careers there. But I don't like how they just randomly appear. I want people to be looking at NXT and be excited about it. And to give people an incentive to watch the program would give them a great reason to put the damn things on the pre-show, because people will watch the pre-show for review purposes. If you haven't watched NXT before, you'll be able to see the talent they've got on the show. One thing I also realised, if Bo Dallas is still the NXT champion by this point, please do note that Bo Dallas could still be champion going into this Battle Royal if he were to make it. Say, for example, someone like Adrian Neville or Sami Zayn was a rival of his going into this Battle Royal, and then they were to, say, eliminate Bo Dallas from the Battle Royal to win him a chance. The NXT champion can't win himself a place on the main roster, but his rival can. Then Bo Dallas just gives up the title, goes onto the main roster anyway, and starts a feud with that person who eliminated him. There's continuation, and it gives us a reason and psychology to give a crap. I mean, come on. That would build 2 young stars' careers in a good way right there. And you can't really have anything wrong to say about that, can you? I mean, overall, the pre-show needs to matter, but don't put people from the main roster on it, please. This is the reason why I've kept, if I'm going to be saying this from now on, put the NXT guys on the bloody pre-show. Because that's what it really should be there for. Like most dark matches were before a show. Put the people on a card who you would not use otherwise. And NXT guys are perfect. And we need more audience going for it anyway. Now we're going on to the main card of what my WrestleMania card, my personal WrestleMania card would look like. Now, just like my videos, when it comes to predictions, there is no particular order in where these are going to be set. It's not going to be, oh, I think this one will start the pay-per-view. That would be a bit weird. I wouldn't want to predict how the running order would be. So I decided to just put the matches in order of importance. And the first of these is Big Show versus Ryback. Now, people are saying Goldberg versus Ryback. No. Okay, I did mention at the beginning which wrestlers wouldn't be on this. Goldberg was one of them. I didn't want Goldberg to be back, because that would make Ryback look bigger than he is. Now, honestly, Ryback has been through a troubled time in recent weeks. He's not really been seen favourably by WWE management. And I think WWE want to see, okay, Ryback, we're going to give you one last chance to prove your worth, and then we're probably going to fire you if you don't do it right. Because he's been roughing people up, he's been sloppy in his matches, and honestly, his match with Mark Henry last year was anticlimactic and really quite bad. Because a guy like Ryback is reasonably quick and Mark Henry isn't. But then again, Ryback slowed down to Henry's pace and it became awful. So why not have a person like Big Show who's got the speed, a little bit more speed I should say, to go against Ryback and give him a good match? And like I said, it's a plateau for change. Big Show is probably this title shot in the next week at Survivor Series is probably his last major chance. So I thought to myself, this idea is a plateau for change. Ryback versus Big Show is a good match idea, and have Ryback win it, like he should have done last year, would give Big Show the opportunity to go, you know what, kid, go forward. You're going through to something big. I'm going to stop now. And that's the good thing for me. To give Ryback that position to at least show people that he's reasonably good. I mean, Big Show could make a good feud out of it. Somehow. But as long as Ryback remains heel. Because honestly, apparently I didn't watch SmackDown due to a society event at uni, that he's turning face again. He's starting to go face, and for God's sake, I know you're not lined up with Paul Heyman anymore, and you effectively got cast away from the Heyman guys, which maybe you're pissed off that you got mistrusted, you did what Heyman asked you to do the best you could, and you then got thrown to the side, and you are still pissed off at that. Why are you not? I mean, come on, Ryback, I would definitely do the same, and Big Show would be a great opponent. Maybe you join up with the Authority and take Big Show out, for example, at TLC to help Triple H win, or you take him out of the Royal Rumble to satisfy what Triple H wants. I mean, you've got a lot of things you can do here, and it would set up a feud nicely. I mean, honestly, Big Show doesn't really have to do anything, it's all Ryback's instigating. It worked with Punk instigating, so why the hell would it not work here? Next, we have we have B. Langston versus Mark Henry for the United States Championship. Now, this one is on the same line as Big Show Ryback. It will be there as a way of getting Langston over. Now, I can see Langston winning a piece of gold in the build-up to WrestleMania. Whether he wins it straight away, loses it, and gains it back again at some point, I have no idea. But I'm definitely saying this. Biggie Langston will win the US title. I don't think he'll win the IC title, no matter how annoying Curtis Axel is as champion right now. I keep thinking that Dean Ambrose has to lose it to somebody. It might as well be someone like Big E, who people are keeping a damn good eye on, and WWE are starting to hype. You know, it's kind of like when you had John Cena going against Big Show. You wanted to see that guy win the damn title. But I want to see maybe Big E going into WrestleMania with the championship. And the thing with Mark Henry, just like Big Show, Mark Henry can put him over knowing he hasn't got long in his career left. He'll come back as a cutting-edge gimmick, will try and highlight his relevance and his realism of being old, but wanting to give that one last shot at something. He's not allowed to get a shot at the championship by orders of Maddox or Vince or Triple H, so he then goes after the one title he knows he can help with getting, and that's the US title, the one he hasn't won yet. So, you look at all that together, it makes perfect sense. And also, the fact that Big E is quite fast, I'd love to see him try and do all kinds of moves on Mark Henry. It would be kind of interesting to see a belly throw on Mark Henry with that guy. It would be pretty cool. Also, the added significance in this one, I don't know, and I want someone to comment in the comment section on whether this is true or not. But wouldn't this be one of the first instances of two African-American wrestlers going against each other on WWE television? I mean, if it has happened before, please comment in the comment section below. But WrestleMania is a plateau for change, and it's also a night for firsts. So why not use that as a night for first? Why not? I mean, sure, if they highlight it or promote it, people will say, wow, you really are not putting balance on the racial equality sector there, are you? I mean, that's probably one criticism that may result in a winner of a match later on in the evening that I would think that I've predicted that could be good for my own personal card. But you know what? These things happen. Nonetheless. So Big E versus Mark Henry, with Big E getting the win, retaining the championship, and Mark Henry handing the torch over to him. Next, Curtis Axel versus Tyson Kidd for that Intercontinental Championship. Now this one is quite simple. I mean, you've got the son of Mr. Perfect going against the last graduate of the Heart Dungeon, and they're fighting for the title that both their dads, in one case one dad and one mentor, made famous. Okay, that to me is just writes itself. I mean, come on, WWE likes it when you've got history there. I know people like Good Mike Work and Lexman, people like that, who care, and a lot of fans actually, who care about the Hart family and the Hennig family, and the history that both of those bring, would want to see this match. I know a lot of people, I mean, sure, it's not going to be an instant classic, I can pretty much guarantee it, and the fact of the matter is, I can see Curtis Axel holding on to this belt for a good while, because WWE, some reason, believe in him, and I know that he can improve given the right opponent. Because he keeps being given opponents that are either too quick for him or too slow for him. They're not really giving him an opportunity to show himself. Tyson Kidd is a good balance between the two. He's a high flyer, but he's a good grappler as well. So I would say to the WWE, give him this chance. And not to mention the fact that Tyson Kidd is a workhorse. He's been working his arse off for ages. Give him a chance. If you're going to push him with Natalya, you might as well do this. And the fact of the matter is, to see the son of Hennig versus the last graduate of the Heart Dungeon at WrestleMania would just feel right. And it just makes perfect sense. If I was going to make the card, I would definitely put this here. I would keep Axel as the Intercontinental Champion to ensure this match happened. It just seems like a perfect fit to me. And if other people could disagree, then you can disagree. But, I mean, sure, Curtis Axel may lose the Intercontinental Championship and then win it back between now and the Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber, which could make a sense that Tyson Kidd think, you know what, you're not really that good a champion if you don't have many title defenses, you're not proving yourself, or prove yourself against me. That's an idea. Then again, it's a match that I would want to see simply for the historical fact and the pre-existing links between the two. And plus, to echo 1991, it would be pretty cool to see IC title between a Hart person and a Hennig person. It would just make loads of retro fans go, ah, awesome. And it would be kind of cool. Next, we have Antonio Cesaro versus Jack Swagger in a flag match. If they're going to make Cesaro face, do it by having him go against the man in his own team. Have him go against Jack Swagger, because this makes perfect sense. I would not want to see Antonio Cesaro split off from this team and not fight with Swagger. That would be disappointing. And honestly, the only real reason you can see them breaking up as a team, because they do, I mean, sure, they bicker at times about who gets the win, but that's never going to make you leave. The one I can think of a legitimate reason, and that's simply because Coulter realizes, hold on a second, the green card that we liked Cesaro having to prove he's a legal person in the country, well, it's expired. It got revoked. He can't work anymore. He can't, until he gets a new one, he can't really work in this country without being monitored and all that stuff. And he thinks, what the hell, he's one of the enemies of our country, and then they both proceed to beat the crap out of him. Cesaro then has to turn face. He stands up for his Swiss pride, and he may not be an American at heart, but he's at least one because he's doing this for all the people. He's still Swiss. And I know people don't like supporting the non-American argument, but if an American patriot is a heel, they might as well do something about it. And sure, the flag match may not be the best type of match, but then again, these two are great wrestlers. They'll put some good in-ring action out there. They'll do whatever the hell they need to do to make that work. So yeah, why not go for it, folks? Kind of makes sense to me, doesn't it? I mean, honestly, Cesaro would win, putting him over some more, and Jack Swagger's record at WrestleMania goes down ever more. But honestly, who would not watch this and immediately see a Cesaro victory? I mean, it just makes sense to build a guy if they're going to put him into something useful. Enough said. Now, a triple threat match for the Divas Championship. AJ Lee versus Natalya versus Paige. You're saying to me, why the hell bring Paige up at WrestleMania, of all places? Well, in my eyes, and many others too, Paige is pretty much pound for pound the best women's wrestler the company has. Don't believe me? Go look at her stuff on the British Indies. Go look at her stuff at NXT. She has wrestling in her blood. She's from a wrestling family up in Norfolk who have been wrestling for generations. That is enough to say she knows what the fuck she's doing, and I would want to see her shine. I think they've been waiting to put her in, even though she's gone over the age limit now. She's over 18. She's got a chance to say, look, you two, great wrestlers in your own right, but come on. I've been on NXT while other people have gone up before me. Summer Rae went up before me and hasn't made an impact whatsoever. I may be the anti-diva, but I'm also the best wrestler in this division. And I can prove it to you if you give me this one shot. Sure, you could do kind of what you did with Mickie James by giving her a WrestleMania debut for the championship and have her win it to set up her career. I mean, Natalya versus AJ Lee is a match we all want to see, and probably will see at Survivor Series, but I would love to see them add a new factor in. Because the one thing about the Divas, people saying, oh, we don't want a Divas match at WrestleMania. I do, as long as it's important. Having the three best wrestlers in the women's division in the company in one match would be superb to have. Because that would show that there's a strong depth in the roster, but there hasn't shown to be. I mean, seeing one of the Bella Twins fight AJ is not exciting, and seeing any of the Total Divas people who can't wrestle with her in the ring doing this, it's also not exciting. Natalya is the only person from Total Divas who can wrestle properly, and I'd want to see someone else who can. I mean, that would be great, to see them all balance off each other. And, I mean, just to see a Divas match that matters in regards to the wrestling talent involved would be something very refreshing in the modern day. I know, and I also think to myself, come on guys, this needs to be done. Give the Divas the right plateau, the right amount of time, and the right people, and you can create a match that would work. I know some people are thinking, I know Vanguard 12 from DeviantArt, whose Dream WrestleMania card made me think of this video. I said that it was going to be like a Lumberjill match, but that would just diminutize who is in the ring. They wouldn't allow them to stand equal on a pedestal, because there would be the faces and the heels continuously trying to make their mark, and the amount of divas there are in the WWE, you wouldn't be able to make a good Lumberjill match out of this damn thing. So, I wouldn't go that far. I would personally say just give these three about 10 minutes in the ring and see where it goes. That's what I would do. Personally, folks. And now we get to the middle of the matches, the main matches that you'd think would be important, and they would. Now I was a bit stuck with this one. I don't know who was going to be tag team champion, or who was even going to be a tag team at WrestleMania. So I didn't want to put a tag team title match in there. I really didn't think there would be a way of putting it in. So I thought, the idea of having an undisputed championship match, an undisputed unification match, for the main titles is pretty much going to happen based on what WWE is planning right now and what I believe would happen. So I thought, you're going to need a new number one contender, and that's where I came up with this match. A 6-man ladder match featuring Sheamus, Ziggler, Kingston, Del Rio, Wade Barrett, and Damien Sandow. Now this match, to me, is going to be awesome, because we all like and we all love 6-man elimination matches, or 6-man whatever it is, but especially when there's a ladder involved, we love it even more. The rich tradition in the last decade of seeing ladder matches for 6 men in it, fighting over an opportunity for a championship, it would give us some good scope to say, okay, give us this. But the other reason why I put this match in there, the winner receiving a number one contendership match at Extreme Rules for that championship, is because I didn't know where to stick these 6 people on the card. I didn't want any of them to lose out if I was going to make a WrestleMania. Okay, sure, people like Miz and Fandango miss out, but and people like R-Truth miss out, but I really don't care about any of them really at the moment. The others, yeah, I do care about these guys, because Sheamus returning from an injury will want to win the championship, makes sense. Ziggler, he wants to get out of the slump he's been in. Kofi Kingston wants to highlight his importance in the roster and saying that he has deserved this opportunity for ages. Del Rio just wants to prove he's still got cut out to be a champion. Wade Barrett, same reason as Kofi, that he's definitely got what it takes to dance with the big boys. He now wants to be able to do it. He's already fought for championships before, why not give him a different opportunity? And then Damien Sandow, Money in the Bank winner, he wrestled Cena in a Match of the Year candidate, for God's sake. That's pretty much all we can say about it. And you know what, folks? It works. It works to see this, and not to mention the fact you've got the different styles in there. You've got the brawling Sheamus, you've got the Del Rio, Kingston, and Ziggler giving some high flying bits, and you're plus mentioning Wade Barrett versus Sheamus again. Pretty cool. And Sandow, we have no idea what he's going to contribute, but it'll be pretty freaking sweet to see him nonetheless. Overall, guys, this is just one of those matches where I think it'll just, at the beginning of the night, the first match you see is an opportunity for a championship. The winner will be shown and remembered. Honestly, I don't know who would win this one. I'd probably go for Kofi in this one to highlight there is a social of change, that Kofi gets his first opportunity at the damn championship. It'd be pretty cool to see in every regard. So yeah, guys, come on. This, I know it's a cop-out, but there's no tag team title match, but for the love of God, if you're going to replace it with this, it'll be worth something. Next, speaking of six-man matches, or six-person, we've got The Shield versus the Wyatt family in a six-man tag team elimination match, where the losing team will disband. Now, we know it's a foregone conclusion. We're going to see Shield versus Wyatt family eventually. We thought it was going to be Survivor Series in a 6-on-6 tag match. We don't know if that's going to happen, but honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing it nonetheless. This, however, is a little bit different, because we know the Shield are on the cusp of individual careers being made. We know that Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose have got what it takes to make it to the big time. And we know that because they are the best, in terms of, we've seen it around, the best stable in-ring-wise that we have ever seen. We've not seen a stable of wrestlers who have put on continuous matches of such quality. We know what we're expecting. So this would be a good opportunity to give the Wyatt family the placing of being the big, creepy, and ridiculously overbearing faction on the entire roster. It would work in so many ways, and not to mention, the Shield have been so big, they, unlike many factions in recent years, won't go out with a whimper. At the biggest stage of them all, they will be able to try their hardest to keep their group and unity as one, but where, of course, we can tell, if one of them loses, say for example Roman Reigns, who I have seen not getting the pinfalls, he's the one who's not being pinned. Imagine if Roman Reigns, who the guy WWE is apparently building to be the next top guy, if he ends up getting pinned. Imagine Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose turning heel and leaving him be, and then he becomes a face and goes on further to his career and bigger heights. That would make more sense than people often think. And honestly, the Wyatt family need to win this, because it's their WrestleMania debut. It will be the biggest opportunity for the Wyatt family to highlight their weirdness on a big stage and give them much more power as heels. Now, I know people are saying, oh, it's a heel-heel match. There's no way any of them can be faces, but that is the beauty of it. We don't see heel versus heel matches often. We see face versus face matches occasionally, but very intermittently. And I want to see these two teams. Then again, the Shield do get cheered. They're going to get cheered against the Wyatt family. Pretty much. I would think that. So anyway, giving this Wyatt family the win would be the right way to take it. In my eyes, anyway. Now, this is pretty much the only dead certain I have on this card. Pretty much. And that is Cody Rhodes versus Goldust, with Dusty Rhodes as the special guest ref. This is pretty much going to happen, and we know it. We've wanted it for years, and honestly, I've wanted it for years. Since 2000 and I believe 2011, I'd say. Since Cody Rhodes broke up with Legacy, we've been continuously saying, put him in a match with his brother. And this is the best time, because honestly, we didn't know when he'd come back and put him in this position. Cody Rhodes versus Goldust happened at the Royal Rumble this year. We all marked out. The fact it didn't get made from WrestleMania from that point on was really annoying. In fact, I mentioned it in my blog as one of the 5 reasons why WrestleMania 29 was built horribly, people. But now we've got them as tag team champs. We've got them both rising up to come back into WWE and win the tag team titles against Triple H's doing. You know, that to me gives an uplifting story. But to see one of them make them lose the tag team championships, oh yeah, that'll be pretty freaking sweet. And not to mention the fact that which one of them will turn heel. I mean, it's probably going to be Goldust, and he'd then end up having to leave after this. But you know, that doesn't really matter. I mean, Dusty Rhodes will be involved either way. It'll just be psychology flowing out of this. So yeah. This is pretty much the only dead certain I can really see happening, and I really am looking forward to this one. I mean, it just looks a certainty. We've been asking for it for the best part of the last 3 years, and WWE have taken their time messing with us, but we finally get the match we want. Isn't that positive, guys? I mean, if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be really, really shocked. But nonetheless, this would be a great opportunity. So I would advise WWE you take it. Okay, now we're going into the main event matches. These are the top 3 that I believe will happen to make WrestleMania sell in some way. Now this first one, people have been taking their own spin on what this will look like. Well, here's mine. Randy Orton with Triple H and Kane in his corner versus The Rock with Vince and Stephanie McMahon in his corner. The stipulation being that if Rock wins, Triple H must resign from as his position as COO and give up any authority that he has. If Orton wins, however, McMahon must resign as chairman in kayfabe TV terms and in real life, handing over the company to Triple H and ushering in McMahon's legitimate departure. Now, I have mentioned before, the other certainty, Vince McMahon and Triple H with a power struggle culminating in one of them becoming the head honcho is the other major thing that I can pretty much guarantee. The one thing people were not sure about is who and what would this take place under. Now, I honestly don't like the ideas of Triple H versus Rock or Triple H versus Cena like Vanguard 12 put through. Like, I don't want to see, if I was going to see anything, I don't want Triple H wrestling on this show, because the matches with Lesnar effectively made me believe he's down and out and will not wrestle again. That's because of the beating he took in those matches. I want to see that be the case. I don't want to see The Rock go against a proper magnitude big guy like John Cena or Stone Cold or whoever is going to be in that position. I would rather see, okay, sure, you may say Randy Orton's a top guy, what the hell are you on about? The one significant difference is that Randy Orton is a third generation wrestler, just like Rock is. That to me is enough to say, put these two here. Now I know that Randy Orton will probably not be on the best position with the company in terms of having his relationship with Triple H and Kane being a little bit frayed. We saw how Kane got in Randy Orton's face last week, saying that he could easily be beaten up and be held to account as well. I mean, honestly, we know that this could be a possibility, that he may not be in the best situation to help Triple H. But then again, after all Triple H has done for him and his resurgence, it would make sense for it to happen. Then again, to see Rock with Vince makes more sense than people think. He's exactly what Vince likes. A person with charisma and a person who's big, freaky, muscly, and can make money. That's pretty much what Vince McMahon likes. So if you put that in a match and you make it happen, it will be brilliant to see. And you know what, guys? I honestly don't understand why people are thinking, oh, we need to put Cena versus Triple H and this and that. And I think, oh, come on. Randy Orton needs a place on this card, because when I had this card done, I didn't know where I was going to put Randy. And then I thought, put him against a guy who's never properly faced before out in a one-on-one contest. Because not to mention the fact we've also had Orton and Rock before, when the Mick Foley scenario came in. Mick Foley was made to look like crap by Randy a decade ago. So to have this come full circle and have a third-generation guy versus a third-generation guy for the importance of the company, I mean, how good would that be? I mean, come on, folks. This would be brilliant to see. And honestly, you can't go wrong with it. This is a match which has so much significance, but it would be the battle of the part-timer versus the full-timer, and it would actually show that Rock losing this would be perfect. But honestly, I can see WWE saying, no, Vince is not going to retire. The fact of the matter is, he will. There's no better place for Vince McMahon to step down than the 30th anniversary of the greatest creation he ever made. That's my opinion. I think a lot of people would agree with me. This would be the perfect opportunity. If it's not the perfect opportunity, then what the hell is? So yeah, Orton versus Rock. Orton wins. Enough said. Now, we have this match which a lot of people are debating over. The Undertaker versus John Cena. The Streak versus the Legacy, as I've aptly named it. Now, people are saying Sting. They're saying Lesnar. But really? Is that really some people are even saying Undertaker Goldberg. Guys, this is the 30th anniversary of WrestleMania. I do not think they want to see that. I don't think a lot of people really do. They're just saying it because they want to name dream matches. Well, John Cena is the only person on the current roster who has the star power to go against The Undertaker, and actually has the reaction behind him to cause a threat. It's John Cena of all people. Honestly, guys, this just makes more sense to me than I really think possible. You may say to me, oh, come on, Fred, it's never going to happen. They're going to put Cena in the main event. Well, this is the beauty of it. WrestleMania is a plateau for change, but it's also a place where you can become a legend. Now, of course, John Cena has won pretty much everything. I would love to see him struggle in a storyline. Of course, he gets eliminated from the Royal Rumble. And my idea for the unification match later on is that the World Heavyweight Championship is made vacant and is put on the line in the Royal Rumble match, okay? Cena loses to injury, for example, because he has to go back and rehab his arm. Tournaments happen, but they come in indecisive via screwy finishes. And then you, much like the WWE Championship was this year, you then put it in a Royal Rumble match and say, okay guys, have at it. No one wins the championship fairly at TLC, and the Royal Rumble, they say, put it in the Royal Rumble match. Winner of this match gets it. And John Cena gets eliminated, and he's cheered for getting eliminated. No one really sees positive no one sees any negative in Cena being eliminated. And that kind of gets to Cena realizing, he's kept his feelings against the boos for all these years under his skin. And he's not let them get to him, even when Kane was rubbing them in his face. And I kept thinking to myself, if Cena were to come out and say, you know what guys, I've won everything, I'm a 14-time world champion, I've won every championship there is, I've won the Royal Rumble twice, I've won Money in the Bank, I've won this, I've won that, what is there that I haven't done to convince you that I am worth it? What is there to convince you that my legacy is worth it? Because it looks like, statistically, I am the greatest wrestler there is in this company. And you know what? I'm going to make the statistics break. I'm going to go face The Undertaker and break the streak so you will all respect me. Now that will show a tweener Cena. Cena has shown more aggression in his promos, he has shown more intensity in his in-ring work, and I would want to see this transferred to something. So why not Taker? Of course, these two have not faced on pay-per-view since 2003. Cena could easily highlight that he last faced Taker when he was a young upstart, trying to get his foot in the door. Now look at me, I'm more decorated than you are. The only thing you've got going for you that makes you bigger than me is the mystique of the streak. And I want to beat that. I want to be the man who becomes the greatest of all time by taking you out. And we all know that Cena barely loses. So look at the intensity that would give, and look at the fear that people would have in themselves. Now, Cena wouldn't win. I would definitely not give him that position. If this is going to be the best plateau for Undertaker to retire undefeated. WrestleMania 30, it'd be the perfect place. If he's going in with a Hall of Fame induction, then all well be it. If he's going to retire, make him win the match, for God's sake. If I was going to say to WWE, if you're going to book this, do not put Cena in the victory column. And I would say this because it would work. Cena would then learn a humble lesson upon wrestling with The Undertaker and have his career be made a bit stronger for it, that maybe he shouldn't be a bit up his own arse. He can be, but don't. To highlight that so that Cena has a bit of edge to him. And, I mean, come on, after seeing CM Punk, Triple H and Shawn Michaels go against Taker, it's right to see someone who is also on equal mass in terms of popularity and draw power to go against it. I mean, come on, if you don't think this is going to happen, I'm a little bit concerned. Because this is the kind of match WrestleMania 30 is made for. I don't care about all those dream matches. Cena versus Taker needs to happen soon. And if Taker is in reasonably good physical condition, you might as well do it. I mean, he put on a match with Punk, which was better than every match at the card last year, when people thought he was going to suck ass. So come on, guys. This is the match we all really need. And it'll sell WrestleMania like hotcakes. Honestly, that would just make more sense. I mean, you've probably done the process of elimination now. We get to the Undisputed Championship match, but who is fighting? CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, that's who. Because I've heard rumours that they want John Cena, Randy Orton for the championship. Please don't. I've already seen those two fight before. If they were going to do them for the Undisputed Championship, they could have done it in 2009. They could have held it in an Iron Man match. They could, like they did at Bragging Rights, or maybe it's Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble, or WrestleMania 25 or 26, or whatever they wanted to do. Hell, even 24, when the feud was at its highest. They could have done it there. But no. If they're going to put John Cena versus Randy Orton again down us, I'm not going to be happy, because it doesn't do anything. WrestleMania is a plateau for change, isn't it not? And we were sick seeing Cena and Rock for the second time the year before. And not to mention, we don't want to see Cena Punk either, because they've done that at so many times at B shows that it won't matter on the biggest stage. And not to mention the fact that Cena has actually beaten Punk now, it wouldn't add any significance at all. That's what made the number one contendership match last year in the build-up to Mania so good, is because Cena finally did it. And this is the thing. CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are the two people who WWE would have thought would have never made it this far. And at WrestleMania 20, remember the same idea with Eddie and the same with Benoit. But of course they can't put the WrestleMania 20 moment on television anymore. People like Good Mike Work have been saying, if you're going to put these guys in, if you're going to make this moment get redone with two different people who fit the same kind of category, then do it. And the fact of the matter is, I would pay good money to see a championship match on the biggest stage of them all, I don't care what kind of match it is, between Bryan and Punk. That would sell Mania to people in a heartbeat, because people know how good these guys are at wrestling. I mean, Orton versus Cena may get casual fans in, and same thing with Punk Cena, but come on. These two are the most over people in the company. I mean, sure, they're teaming right now, but only to fight off the Wyatt family, and they probably will fight off the Wyatt family. When it comes to that Royal Rumble, CM Punk may have already won the WWE Championship, for example. I would say Orton versus Punk one more time. Punk has fought his way through, and he realizes, you know what? I need another shot at the championship. He gets it. Goes into TLC, beats Orton for the championship. All well and good. Maybe he goes in and beats Orton at the Royal Rumble too. And the World Heavyweight Championship is still up at the Royal Rumble match, and the winner gets the belt. Daniel Bryan goes in really early, say number 1, number 2, number 3, goes in, fights through the entire thing, wins the damn championship, and then Brad Maddox and Triple H, or whoever it is, authorizing this, goes in and says, you know what, Daniel Bryan, you're the best guy on the roster, you've beaten everyone, you are the best, you deserve this championship. And then out comes CM Punk saying, no, you may have defeated 29 of the men to win that, but you know what? You're still under me, pal. You're not the best in the world. I am, because I'm the one with the WWE Championship. Your title means nothing when you put up against me. And that's happened before. We've seen CM Punk and Daniel Bryan as World Heavyweight and WWE Champion in the past saying that you are under me. Or was it Sheamus? I can't remember who. It was either Sheamus or Daniel Bryan. But the same kind of thing happened there, saying that you are under me. I'm the WWE Champion. I have more importance than you. And that's just fantastic. I mean, I don't care really what kind of match it's in. It could be an Iron Man match, it could be a submission match, it could be anything. But this is the thing, it's mostly to say that these two indie darlings who no one thought would make it this far, in the main event, and plus, CM Punk wants a main event at Mania, so give it to him. And this is it, guys. This is the match I would want to end the pay-per-view. Okay, if Taker's going to retire, then by all means, put Taker versus Cena in the main event spot. But put these guys before it, and you'll make me immensely happy. Because honestly, this is the match that will sell Mania for a lot of people. Same with Taker Cena. Same with Orton Rock. We want to see these big matches that make people give a shit. And if this, of all things, doesn't make people want to buy WrestleMania or get their ticket, then I would definitely be considering what the hell is wrong with you. And the rest of this card is maybe only my personal prediction as to what the card would want. It's not really a prediction, it's more my dream card of what I would want WrestleMania to be. And if some of these happen, then I'll be the happiest person in the world. But Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk, embracing at the end, saying, you and I both made it. We're on the biggest stage of them all, with championships in hand. I don't feel like a loser. Whoever loses this match will not feel like a loser in the slightest, and they will feel on top of the damn world. And that's what it's about, guys, and I'm going to finish there. I hope you guys like this personal card that I've picked. It's my dream card. What are yours? Put a video response or a comment down in the comment section. I would really appreciate it. And honestly, guys, if you like this video, which I hope you do, click the subscribe button if you haven't already as well, because that is all that matters. Everyone likes these things, and if you're enjoying my opinions, good on you, and I'm really happy that you do. Nonetheless, guys, my WrestleMania trip is between the 1st of April, when I leave the UK, and I'll be leaving on the 9th of April. So that's 9 days in New Orleans. What's going to happen? Well, you know what? I'm saying this right now. If you follow me on Twitter and keep an eye at my blog at CCWR blog at Blogspot, you'll be able to follow me and all the stuff I do. Because I'm keeping a chronological diary of everything that happens in my WrestleMania week. So honestly, guys, if you want to keep up on that, when that happens, stay connected during that week, then all you got to do is follow me on these specific pages. You can also follow me on Facebook and stuff below, but these are the two that I will be using in the trip. And I'll keep referring that whenever I do a WrestleMania build-up video. And honestly, guys, this is the first of many. Any WrestleMania news that comes up, any WrestleMania things that come up, that topics that need addressing, this will be the type of video that will be needed for it. And guys, I have been Cream Crazy, you've been people listening. This has been my personal dream WrestleMania card for WrestleMania 30 in however many days. And I will see you guys next time, when I hope to God I do a Raw review on time. Damn, I hate my Tuesdays. Fucking hell, I hate my Tuesdays. Anyway, cheers guys, have a fantastic weekend, and I hope all goes well. Cheers!